This anime made me realize that you don't need stellar, unique characters, a world that hasn't been done before, or even a unique protagonist to be fair. Because all's well as long as the animation fucking hits. I fuck you not, I was watching Suicide Squad Isekai just before this show, so when I say my expectations were low hopping into it, my expectations were fucking low, man. Also, did this show get fucking good while I disappeared? Like, what? Where the fuck did this come from? Where the fuck was this in the first 6 episodes? What the hell? So color me not surprised when the first 20 seconds of this anime made me feel like I had already watched it like 50 fucking times. And just when I was thinking anime is completely fucking cooked this season, I'm blown away at the 1 minute mark of this dog slobbering in 4K. So, how the fuck did this show that seemingly came left field out of absolutely fucking nowhere become one of the most watched shows of the season? Next to anime like Tower of God or Oshinoko, and basically already become greenlit for season 2 before it even finished. What if I told you this wasn't a game of mere chance or a roll of the die? From the studio, team, and director, what if I told you that this shit was fucking planned and executed for only one thing and one thing alone? Success. Wistoria, Wand and Sword was, trust me, you have to believe me on this one, but I honest to God already felt like this was similar to a particular show I watched like 10 plus years ago. So once again, color me surprised when it was also made by the exact same person, Omori Fujino. Like, bro didn't even really try to hide it, not gonna lie. The fact that there's a woman that both protagonists like that's way out of their reach and they both have to grind towards getting that girl. Both protagonists are of heroic nature. The dungeon crawler fighting aspects are similar, and even certain mob characters act and feel the same in a way that makes you just instantly hate them or somewhat like them. Only thing missing is, you know, the picking up girls in the dungeon. Oh, wait a second. Okay, now for the question of the day. Which studio decided to throw its entire budget at this show? Is good, I'll give you a second. Oh, did you by any chance guess Madhouse? Or what about Shaft? Or maybe Bandai Namco Cash Grab Pictures. Yes, you heard me right. The same studio who brought us this and this, but also brought us this and this, said, you know what? Fuck it, just throw money at it. So, where exactly did this money go? Unlike what a lot of people think, it's not really money that makes a show, movie, or song great. It's talent. Talent can make $100 screenplay be a $1 billion production. Talent can make a simple guitar in a non-airtight room sound better than a full production studio. Talent can make a generic story shine brighter than a masterpiece. Tatsuya Yoshihara was responsible for some of the finest episodes in some of the most popular shows of the decade, and had a hand in episodes from One Punch Man, Frieren, and all 12 episodes of Chainsaw Man. He was the perfect man for the job, being capable of delivering a mystical fantasy, action-packed adventure of a story onto the big screen. And well, he delivered in exactly that. One could even say that it didn't matter what show he was put on, he would have delivered. So, why invest so much into this 15-chapter manga that, not gonna lie, I'd certainly never heard about before? What about the plot, the characters, you know, what do they have to offer? Well, if you know me and my 100% accuracy rate with character motivations and philosophies, this guy looks like a Sephiroth plus Sasuke clone, and that's Black Kyuubi from Madoka Magica. But for real though, if I could sum this story up in one word, it's haters. Straight up hating on a level of pure racism, not gonna lie. There's haters 1 and 2 over there. Oh, haters 3 to 20. Oh, what's this? A unique level 50 hater that's leading a pack of haters? Damn, even the teacher a hater. Now that's just pretty normal, not gonna lie. Just to hit a certain point home, I'm going to increment a counter for each point I mention while describing the premise of this show that's, well, to put it mildly, generic as fuck. Our main protagonist is Will Selford, a man with no magic in a city full of magic. The objective of all city residents is to climb the tower or dungeon in the core of the city and reach the pinnacle of magic. In a world of such magic, being capable of magic is seen as a birthright and as the ultimate status symbol where those without it are looked down upon and are completely unable to attend the academy to reach the top. So why is our protagonist, with no magic, subjecting himself to such humiliation to reach the top of the tower? For a fucking girl, of course, come on now. So, Will is essentially climbing the tower on hell mode, with only physical buffs and a gym-backy physique, surrounded by magic and everyone praying on this man's downfall. Every character in the show, in my opinion, as of right now, can be split into two camps. The favorable ones that are somewhat neutral or like Will, or haters with the potential of character development or whose destiny is to be trounced by him. Honestly, this is another aspect of the show that felt so similar to DanMachi. The writer knows how to make you hate a character. Like, it's why he keeps picking these innocent, heroic, can't do anything wrong protagonists. Because it makes you hate the antagonist even more. It looks generic, it looks predictable or simple, but there's a strong reasoning behind his decisions. Every character fills the role they need to fill relatively perfectly. It might be generic, it might be simple, they might be just there to act as a source of hatred for the audience. But I've seen many shows try to be generic and still fail at that because they can't even do that right. Okay, let's get into something I actually think is great about this show. One thing I can say this writer does extremely well in both DanMachi and Wistoria is the world building. It honestly what drew me in both times. From the different factions climbing the tower, all slowly exposed and expanded upon as our hero gets stronger. The impressive magic system that currently appears simple but is grounded and is capable of growth. Down to the power scaling done amazingly in both DanMachi and Wistoria, where the protagonist doesn't feel overpowered but feels like he has new heights he constantly has to grind towards and expand on. All the characters, including him, have grounded weaknesses that can be exploited in fights. It makes the fights not feel stale or boring at any point. He sets apart this fantastical, magical RPG-esque world that's, don't get me wrong, it's well made written or in manga format, but just like another show I watched recently, Frieren, when I was reading the manga, it just gets that extra oomph on paper that you just never knew it needed until it gets animated. Yuki Hayashi composed the soundtrack for this show, and with how I instantly wanted to stand up from my chair like a fucking maniac when the action sequences went off, I knew for a fact it wasn't the first time I'd heard this guy's work. And lo and behold, yes, this man brought us the entire My Hero Academia soundtrack, including Yusei Run, with hype-ish and action-oriented the soundtracks felt, or how the soundscape would hit just right when it needed to for impact. Not a lot of, studios can pull it off as perfectly as this man does. This is what I think is missing from most action sequences or action anime that really propel fights to the next level. Dynamic sound. The amazing sound direction alone like when you're actively trying to listen in, is flawless. Sounds will wisp, zoom, and flash in your ears with wonderful video composition that really drive home all the action sequences. Beautifully orchestrated soundtracks know just how to set the correct mood, whether it's in a moment of determination or grit, sadness or hopelessness, comeback or triumph. Honestly, even in the moments of the show where the animation begin falling a bit flat, this alone carried the anime to the point where I can still call this a 12 episode movie. I don't fucking care.